The pressure to participate in sin is all around us. And I'm sure you've also felt it. And it's so much easier for us to remain faithful when we're surrounded by fellow Catholics, and so much harder when we're not. We have friends, co-workers, and unfortunately even family members might urge us to go to places that offend our Lord, or to dress immodestly, and to laugh at jokes that mock the faith, to watch immoral content, or join in on conversations that are contrary to Christian charity. Now, in those moments, standing strong as a Catholic can feel nearly impossible. I have that temptation to slip back into old habits, to go with the flow of the world, or even feel ashamed of your desire for purity is real. And this is exactly what the devil wants. But there's hope, and a powerful strategy that's deeply Catholic. It comes from a true story of a young French woman who found herself surrounded by everything that could drag her away from Christ. Yet, she managed to keep her heart pure. So stay with me, because we're about to take a look very closely at her example of heroic Catholic virtue. How she clung to her faith in the middle of a storm, and how you can do that also. And if you've already stumbled, don't worry. There is a sure path to regain that purity of heart, which I will explain. But before we dive in, I'd like to give a heartfelt thanks to all of you who support the Heralds of the Gospel. If you value this kind of Catholic content, please consider subscribing to our Catholic faith platform. Not only will you gain access to inspiring courses such as ones on the saints, church history, angels, demons, the sacraments, and living out Catholic marriage, etc., and many more, but you'll also be directly supporting our mission to form strong Catholic souls in today's world. Every subscription helps us reach more people and keep producing content faithful to the Church. And for that, you'll find the link in the description below. Once again, thank you for being a part of this apostolate. Now, let's get back to our story. So together, with my trusty magnifying glass, let us return to the case of this innocent young woman who found herself in the wrong kind of place, and what she did to save her innocence. Her name was Catherine, and she lived in rural France. Unfortunately, her mother died suddenly when she was just 9 years old, leaving the little Catherine in shock. However, she remembered something that her mother had taught her, and she took our Blessed Mother as her mother and dedicated her life to serving God. She counted on our Blessed Mother for everything, just as any child does with their own mother. But she didn't yet know how exactly would she serve God. That's until one night she had this, a strange dream in which an unknown priest appeared and called her to serve God with him. And he assured her that her vocation would be fulfilled with him. At the time, she didn't know what this meant, so she just tucked it away in her memory. And one day, when she was 21 years old, she visited the Convent of the Daughters of Charity, a religious order that was founded by St. Vincent de Paul. And imagine her shock when she saw there in the entrance of the convent a portrait of the very priest who appeared to her in that dream some years before. And of course, that was a portrait of St. Vincent de Paul, the founder of the Daughters of Charity. In a flash, you could say, she understood that her vocation was to become a daughter of charity. It was as if a great weight had been lifted from her shoulders, and she was filled with joy to have discovered her true vocation. Her father, however, he was very annoyed with this idea because he had other plans for her. In vain, he tried to convince her to, instead of becoming a nun, to get married. But she would not accept any of his arguments. Frustrated, he sent her to Paris to work in a bistro run by one of her brothers. He had hoped that there she would meet an appealing man, change her mind, and get married. Now, this bistro was a place where working men came for their meals. It was a rowdy and crude environment. Catherine found it dreadful to be in such a rough and indecent place, especially because in her heart, she already considered herself a religious, a daughter of charity, with a very, special devotion to the founder, St. Vincent de Paul. She embraced her religious goal with her whole heart and applied the teachings of St. Vincent de Paul to her daily routine, seeking to do everything with joy, with simplicity, piety, and perfection. With love for her new, though yet unfulfilled, vocation, she carried herself with perfect purity despite the rabble around her. Did this take effort on her part? Yes and no. For no one, and I mean no one can succeed at such things merely by their own efforts. It requires many and many graces. But Catherine was a woman who prayed with great confidence and had a firm intention to fulfill God's will for her. Years later, Catherine shared some wise words from her older sister, who was already a nun in the convent that Catherine hoped to join. So listen to what she said. If at this moment someone were powerful enough to offer me the possession of not merely a kingdom, but the whole universe, I would look upon it as dust at my feet, knowing that I would not find in the possession of the whole world the happiness I feel in my vocation. It was this mindset that gave Catherine the strength to hold firm, even when things were difficult. She kept her eyes on the bigger picture, the lasting joy that comes from staying true to her calling. Most importantly, she knew her own strength, it wasn't enough. She needed to lean entirely on God's help. And years later, she would write, thinking back to that tough time that she went through, we must agree that we are very weak when we do not put all our confidence in God, because God knows the depths of our hearts. One thing Catherine shows us is that standing firm requires firm intention. It also requires confident prayer. We can rely on our Blessed Mother to grant us the graces we need to sustain ourselves against the assaults of the world, if we ask with total confidence. We need every grace that we can get to help us against the ills of the world. We mustn't hesitate to ask Our Lady, our guardian angel, the saints to whom we have special devotion, to intercede vigorously to protect us. So let me ask you a question. What can we learn from Catherine when we are stuck in tough situations? There are two key things that made all the difference for Catherine. First, remind yourself why you want to live a holy Catholic life and serve God. No one, not even the harshest crowd or the worst pressures, can force you to sin. Sin is always a free act of the will, and only you can choose to remain in a state of grace. If you truly want to be faithful, God will give you the strength to persevere. Second, remember that we are all weak without God's grace. The key is to beg for help, especially through the intercession of our Blessed Mother. Our Lord wants us to recognize that we are dependent on Him. So if you turn to Him and to our Blessed Mother in humility, they will never abandon you in your struggle for purity. But what if you feel that you've already lost your innocence and purity of heart? don't lose hope. Do these two things. Number one, if you are in the state of sin, go to confession immediately. And number two, pray the restoration prayer daily. Now you're going to ask me, what is the restoration prayer? Well, Professor Plinio Correa de Oliveira, the spiritual mentor of our founder, Monsieur João Clá, he wrote this beautiful prayer to our Blessed Mother that speaks of the longings for that purity of heart we might have known at times, but so easily lose in the tumult of the world. And he called it the restoration prayer. And it goes like this. There are moments, my mother, in which my soul feels touched in the deepest recesses by ineffable yearning. I long for the time in which I loved thee, and thou didst love me in the vernal atmosphere of my spiritual life. I yearn for thee, my lady, and for the paradise which was placed in me by the great communication I had with thee. Dost thou not also, my lady, long for that time? Dost thou not long for the goodness which exists in that son that I once was? Come, therefore, thou who art the best of all mothers, and for the love that which was blossoming in me, restore me, recompose in me that love for thee, and make of me the complete realization of that son without stain, which I would have been had I not been so miserable. Give me, O my mother, a repentant and humble heart, and make shine anew before my eyes that which by the splendor of thy grace I had once begun to love so very much. Remember, O Lady, this David, and all the sweetness thou hast placed in him. So be it. I'm going to ask that they place this prayer in the description of this video. So let's wrap this up. In the end, young Catherine's father saw that no effort on his part would persuade his daughter to let go of her desire for a religious vocation. She gave in and allowed her to enter the convent. In fact, we know this young girl as Saint Catherine Labouré, who received the famous visions of our Blessed Mother and the miraculous medal, and went on to be a great saint. But even the greatest of saints have years of pain, sorrow, and struggles to overcome. They offer us their intercession, but also their example of heroic virtue in the face of the enemy. The graces that help Catherine are available to us. We can ask for them to protect our hearts from the world's ugliness and to help us get back up if we fall. Remember those moments when your heart felt lifted and close to God? They're real and they matter. Even if those moments pass, you can hold on to them and ask God to refresh them in your soul. With determination and confident prayer, you'll find those moments return just when you need them the most. And before we go, just one more reminder. If you found this video helpful, please support the Heralds by subscribing to our formation platform. Your generosity allows us to keep producing faithful Catholic content and spreading devotion to our Blessed Mother and the Church. Every subscriber, every supporter is truly a part of our mission. The link is in the description below. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and I hope to see you soon. Salve Maria.